Welcome to ESI Africa Insights. In this episode, I am speaking with Catherine Nyambula, who is one of the leaders featured in our African Power and Energy Elites magazine. The Elites is a multimedia platform that celebrates innovative projects and unique leadership shaping our future. So, welcome to the studio, Catherine.
Thank you, Nicolette. I'm quite honored to be here. What a pleasure.
So, Catherine, in the Elites, you reflect on your journey as a seasoned electrical engineer with over 2 decades of experience. That is quite substantial. So, could you share with us more about what initially drew you to the engineering field and the energy sector? And I'd also love to hear about how those experiences influenced and shaped the path of your career.
Thank you, Nicolette. I actually didn't start off wanting to be an engineer. I was very, very interested in mathematics. So originally, I wanted to take the most mathematically intense course, double math to be precise. But my career counselor in school told me, no, you need to be a professional. And if you really want to do maths, you should take electrical engineering, which is the most mathematically intense engineering. That is how I ended up being an electrical engineer. In the course of my studies, I was attracted to telecoms. Originally, not energy, but telecoms. I was fascinated by the idea that a signal could actually go through the air and get received at the other end, radio frequency. And telecoms really fascinated me. So I wanted to build a career in telecoms. So I did about 4 years of telecoms. Then there was an opening at the Kenya Electricity Generating Company, the largest power generator in East Africa. And that is what launched my career in energy. Telecoms was a sector with a lot of sense of urgency and a lot of speedy response. We needed to respond quickly because we had to be up and running all the time. And that is what shaped my career in energy, where I moved on with that, supporting the energy sector to reduce blackouts and downtimes.
Two really important uh, technical issues that can occur within the electrical system. So I'm really glad that the market had your expertise available to manage all of that. But before we continue with our conversation, allow me to thank our Elites partners. They are Conlog, ALSF, Nyamazela, Power Africa, Ren Energy, Surety Green, and South African Airways. Your support and belief in the Elites magazine has made it possible for us to deliver this keepsake to our audience. So, Catherine, to continue our conversation, in your Elites profile, you highlight a very ambitious goals of projects that you have previously worked on. They included connecting 50 million people to electricity and mobilizing billions of US dollars in investment. So, can you expand on one of the technical or operational challenges that you have faced in your daily work as you try and present electricity to 50 million people?
Yes, let me start by talking about supportive legislation and the speed of execution. You find that because my work was covering 8 countries in East Africa, you find that some of the countries do not have a well-developed legislative system to support development work. Subsequently, the developers take a lot of time moving from one stage to the next. Of course, that is also affected by the funding that the 4.7B you've spoken about, raising funds for preliminary aspects of development such as feasibility studies is then a challenge. And alongside that is the challenge of talent, where you find that there's always talent moving out of the countries. Those who are qualified sometimes don't stay in their countries to support the development. So all these work together to create an operational challenge. That is supportive legislation, for example, for battery energy storage, the steps it takes for a developer to progress a project from start to commissioning, all including having a favorable tariff, legislation to support that, and of course, the funding to make the projects happen. Those were some of the top operational challenges that I face in my daily work.
That is quite a lot of work that goes into your day to day, and I'm sure that there are young people out there that would love to have a lengthier conversation with you. So, Catherine, as we lead up to the 2025 edition of the Elites, which marks its 10th anniversary, please allow me to first highlight to our listeners that nominations close on the 28th of September 2025. And I call out to them to help us make this special edition come to life by nominating the projects and leaders that you see making a difference in the market. Now, Catherine, to continue our conversation, you speak about your advocacy for gender inclusion and your role as a founding member of Women in Sustainable Energy and Entrepreneurship. So how are you applying this passion for inclusive leadership within the EECA project? And also give us some information around what are the most powerful lessons or impacts you've seen when promoting women's participation in the energy transition?
Okay, the passion for women, when you work with women, you see results quickly, and also your results cover a wider number of lives and livelihoods. That makes it quite motivating to support women. Now, the women somehow have this 360-degree perspective on things. They want to enhance their lives, and they also want to enhance livelihoods. That is, to make some money while having an impact on normal day-to-day living. Subsequently, when they're given a chance, they're able to lead to more productive uses of the energy. And I'm not saying that men do not do the same. It's just that women have now been welcomed into that space and they are having a go whereas men have maybe all along been having. Women have, for example, led to increased use of solar-powered refrigeration for use in vaccines and other cold chains. For example, I have seen here in Kenya use of solar-powered refrigerators for fish, in the cold chains for fish and for other agricultural uses. And one of the big topics now in energy is clean cooking that is directly impacting women. And I've also seen that if you are in the large organizations, then you have women having a positive impact across entire corporates where they're leading organizations. For example, we had the KenGen being led by a woman for the first time, Rebecca Miano, who had a far-reaching impact across the whole organization. So I'm of the view that women are able to support more productive use of energy, which then enhances lives and livelihoods. And that's very motivating for me to be a part of.
I think you touched on a very key point there, and that is the productive use of energy. And I'm sure that women and men in the sector are looking to making sure that that actually does happen. So, Catherine, I have one last question for you, but first I want to express my thanks to our 2025 to 2026 Advisory Board, who will be reviewing the nominations for the next edition of the Elites. Catherine, in the Elites, you talk about choosing a song of the year to keep you inspired. So I'd love to know which song is really pulling you through this year, 2025, and why that particular song.
Thank you for that, Nicoletta. Yes, for the last 7 or so years, I've been having an annual theme. My first theme was climbing Mount Everest, and a few friends thought I was actually going, but it was more a concept about elevating my expectations, my performance, and my results. About 4 years ago, I started having a song of the year to keep me motivated and to keep, as a reminder of how much I should achieve my targets. Last year, my song was Unstoppable. This year, my song is actually Joy by King and Country. I don't know how many of your audience know this song, but this song says, I choose joy. And in this song, King and Country are saying they're breaking a cycle of negativity, particularly with regard to evening news, where every time you put on news in the evening, there's a negative story. So instead of listening to the negative story and focusing on it, you choose joy over the negative news. You break the cycle of negativity and inject positivity into your life. Somehow, it's been a very, very wonderful song for this year, and I can't wait to see where it's taking me for the remaining 5 or so months now that we're in August. So I choose joy.
I do believe you have selected the perfect song, and I think our audience is definitely going to go and look that song up. For 2025, it definitely captures where we should be looking. So thank you so much for sharing that with us, Catherine.
Thank you.
And in closing, the 10th African Power and Energy Elites will launch in December 2025. So if you have enjoyed this interview, please share it with your network. Wishing you a powerful day, and goodbye for now.
Thank you for having me, Nicolette, and all the best to the Elite 2025.